Welcome to another crochet tutorial with Cozy Rosie UK. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this cute bonding square. Now, bonding squares are generally given to premature babies and their mums to help share the scent so that when they're in the ICU, the baby can have a square and the mum can put her scent on another square, and it really does help with bonding during that difficult time. So before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and of course the notification bell, and then I'll take you through how to make this bonding square. Now you will of course need to make two bonding squares. So the yarn that I've used for this pattern is the Sirdar Snuggly Cashmere Merino. You can get this with silk in as well, which is really useful and silky soft for those newborn babies. It's made of a blend of 50% wool, 33% acrylic and 10% cashmere. With the silk you have I think slightly less wool and more silk in the blend as well. They come in these really cute balls. I've tried to pull mine apart. I do like to pull from the middle, but this ball did not want to do that today. So you're going to need any DK weight yarn. So this is a double knitting or a size 3. So any will do at all. And we're going to be using a 4mm crochet hook, a very old trusty hook here, a pair of scissors to snip your ends, and a darning needle just to weave those ends in at the end. So gather those materials and we'll get started. So on average, most bonding squares are about 5 inches square. This one is just over that at about 5.5 inches square. And we're going to start by simply making a slip knot and placing that onto our hook. And then we're going to make a chain. So we're going to chain an odd number. So we're going to, in this case, we're going to chain 20. Oh no, not going to chain an even number. So we're going to chain 24. So just chain 24. And that is 24 chains. Let's get a little bit more yarn off this ball. And for row 1, we're simply going to work into our chain, and we're going to start in the second chain from hook. And we're going to work a half double crochet. So that's American terms. In UK terms, it will be a half treble crochet. So we yarn over the hook, not working into this first chain here. We're going to work into our second chain from hook. So we yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, bring a loop up. So we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull down and pull through. She says all 3 loops in our hook. I've split my yarn. There we go. All 3 loops in our hook. And we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each of these chains along. So we're going to have our chain of 24 will give us a stitch count of 23. So at the end of row 1 you should have 23 half double crochets. So working into each of those chains, I'll see you at the end of row 1 with a stitch count of 23. So that is my final stitch for row 1. I have a stitch count of 23, which is just what we need to work row 2. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. I turn mine like a page in a book. And then for row 2, we're going to start by working in the same chain the same stitch we did our chain 1 into. So our chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook and work 1 half double crochet, and then across the next 2 stitches we're going to work a paired half double crochet. So a paired half double crochet is where you insert your hook into the stitch you've just worked, yarn over, you yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch you've just worked, yarn over to bring your 3rd loop up, Then you yarn over again and work into the stitch, the next stitch along, yarn over to bring a 5th loop up, and then we're going to yarn over and just pull through all 5 loops on our hook. And that works those 2 stitches together, but it doesn't decrease our stitch count. Working into the next stitch, we're just going to place a half double crochet, and then we work a paired half double crochet into the same stitch and the next stitch along. So where we've just worked, we yarn over, insert our hook, bring a loop up, yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and bring a 5th loop up, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on our hook. Working directly into the next stitch, we're going to work 1 half double crochet before we work another paired half double crochet. So yarning over, insert into the same stitch you've just worked, yarn over to bring a loop up, yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, bring up that 5th loop, and then yarn over to pull through all 3 loops on your hook. We're going to repeat that the whole way along this row, where we work 1 half double crochet and then 1 paired half double crochet, working back into that stitch we just placed the half double crochet in. And we're going to repeat that the whole way down until the very final stitch, where we will need to place 1 half double crochet to complete the row. It's a nice easy repeat, just remembering to move along to work your half double crochet after you've worked your paired. Oh, got an extra bit there we go. So if you're not sure what stitch you've just done, if you lose concentration like I do a lot, you can see that with your paired half double you've got more loops underneath your finished stitch. So if you've just got your 3 loops, you've just done your half double and you need to work your paired into the next 2 stitches. Don't know why I keep catching everything. Then after you've done your paired half double, you can see all 5 loops underneath your hook. I like to know what I'm looking at sometimes as well when I'm crocheting. When you reach your last one, you may think, I've run out of stitches, but you haven't, I promise. That, because we're only using chain 1 as our turning chain, we do have that last chain there, or the last stitch to work into, to work 1 half double crochet. So at the end of row 2, we can start to see the beautiful texture of working those paired half double crochets. So your stitch count should still be the same. You should still have a total of 23 stitches at the end of row 2. Going into row 3, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to repeat row 2. So we just work that 1 half double crochet, and then straight away we do a paired half double crochet working into the same stitch that we've just placed the half double. Then into the next stitch we work a half double crochet, followed by a paired half double crochet. Repeat that all the way down to your last stitch on this row and work 1 half double crochet into that last stitch. So keep working along and I will meet you at the end of row 3. I've just reached my final stitch in row 3. You can really start to see that texture coming out now. So going into row 4. Oh, we should still have the same stitch count, by the way, of 23 at the end of row 3. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn for row 4, and row 4 is nice and simple. We're going to literally start from the beginning and repeat up again. So for row 4, we're simply going to chain 1 and then work 1 half double crochet into each stitch across. So we'll still have the same stitch count at the end of row 4. My yarn has got away from me. Come back. There we go. Oh dear. So we still have a row stitch count of 23 at the end of row 4, and then we're going to go back into our other, all the way through, thank you. So carry on working your half double crochet into each stitch along, and I'll catch up with you at the end of row 4. Don't forget to work that last stitch. It sometimes disappears a little bit down the side when we're doing a chain 1 for our turning chain. So at the end of row 4, we have our complete pattern, and you can really start to see those textures come out in those little kind of arrows almost in this stitch. So we should have a stitch count of 23, and we're going into row 5. And for row 5, we are going to again repeat row 2. So we're going to do our chain 1, and we're going to place 1 half double crochet into the same stitch as our chain 1. Then we're going to work a paired half double crochet across the original, our starting stitch, and our second stitch, and just repeat that the whole way along. So 1 half double crochet followed by 1 paired half double crochet. Goodness me, that's tricky to say. So work that the whole way along. Right at the end, you'll have 1 stitch remaining to work your final half double crochet for this row, and I will meet you at the end of row 5. Wow, this is a quick pattern, this one. That's my last half double crochet for row 5. You can really start to see that pattern coming out now. So round 6 is again a repeat of the row 6 is the same as the row we've just done. So we're going to do 1 half double crochet after our chain 1 and turning, followed by our paired half double crochet. Repeat that all the way along, and then the pattern is pretty much that. We are going to repeat these 3 rows. So it's a 3-row repeat where we do 1 row of half double crochets followed by 2 rows of the pattern with the paired half doubles in. So it's nice and simple. And as soon as I finish this stitch, I'll tell you how many times we're going to have to repeat it in total, because I didn't write that down. Let's have a look. I'm going to repeat the pattern of the 3-row repeat for a total of 5 times, and then we're going to put a border on. So we're in our second repeat anyway. Check what stitch I'm on. So we're going to repeat this 3 more times after this one, so that we can have 5 repeats in total. And then we're going to add a really simple border just to neaten up our edges and to make sure that the square is nice and strong. It'll be good for washing. This yarn does wash up very well, which is why I chose to use it for this bonding square. Not that they'll be washing it anytime soon, but you never know. The important thing to note when we are making bonding squares is that there should be a pair, because one is for the mum, one is for the preemie baby, so that they can exchange them on visits to get each other's scent. Little pesky one at the end is always hard to find. So we've now done our 6th row, and we're going to continue to repeat this pattern. So we're going to do the next row. For row 7 would be our half double crochets, 8 and 9 would be the row with the paired half doubles, for a total of 15 rows. And then we're just going to do 1 row of half double crochet. So complete, we're on row, we're up here. So we're nearly halfway through, which is quite amazing. So do your repeat 3 more times. So you've got a total of 5 lots of repeats. So you can see you've got your half doubles. So row 1, 2, and 3, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc. So you've done that 5 times in total, and then come back and I will show you how to add on your border. So I've just finished my final row. So I've got a total number of rows here of 16 to finish off our bonding square. So right at the end, we are going to work in a circle or a square around to just add a row of single crochets. So we're going to start by just working a chain 1 at the end. We're not going to turn, we're going to work down the side of our project. And we're going to do the corner when we come back. So the first place we're going to insert our hook, well, what we're going to do, it might help if I tell you that. At the end of each row, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So if we take this row as an example, you can see this is the end of the row if you follow it up. And we're just going to insert our hook into the hook, yarn over, bring a loop up, and pull through both loops. So this is this row done. This space is not a row, so we have to go into where the stitch is. Just push it through. As long as you catch a couple, that'll be fine. And we're just going to work a single crochet evenly all the way down each of these rows. So we've worked here, so this is the next row to work into. And we just work 1 single crochet into the end of each row, all the way down to the corner. I'm always a little bit cautious doing this, making sure I don't get myself confused, put the stitches in the wrong place. So I kind of follow the bumps along and work near the bumps when I can. This will just give a nice edge all the way around this little bonding square. Okay, so we've reached our first row. Rather than working into, we're going to work into that first stitch to work our corner. So we work 1 single crochet, another single crochet, a chain 1 for the corner, and then into the same stitch again we work another 2 single crochets, and that just gives us a little neat corner. So working along the back of this row here, and we are going to work 1 single crochet into the other side of our chain. Oops. going to work one single crochet into each of our chains across to the next edge, and then we're going to work another corner, and then we work back up the other side of this square. Reach where we started effectively. So where that slip knot is, we need to work our corner. I'm going to hold the tail end against the side there and work 2 single crochets, a chain 1, and another 2 single crochets into that same stitch. And that works, if I hold my work right, that will work our next little corner. And then we're going to work up this side the same way we did the other side. So working into the end of each row, I'm going to hold that tail and work over that, save me a job at the end. And we're just going to work 1 single crochet at the end of each row up the side of our project, all the way up to our last row where we're going to work across. Of course, we need to add in a corner to make it as neat as possible. I always find that working down one side than the other, there's always one side that's a little bit easier to work, or a bit more easy to find where to put your hook. Don't know if you find the same. Let me know in the comments actually, to make me feel better that I'm not the only one that sometimes finds it a challenge to know where to put their hook. So we've reached back to where we started. You can see there that we've already worked in there, but we actually need to work into this final stitch here. See, we've got our 2 loops. We're going to work into there and work our corner, which of course is 2 single crochets, a chain 1. We're only going to work 1 more single crochet, oops, and then we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made to join the round. And we can do a little chain 1 and fasten off. We can grab our scissors, leave a little nice long enough tail to weave in. I'm notoriously naughty for making them too short. This will need some form of blocking because it might just be my incredibly tight crocheting. There we have. All we need to do now, of course, is to weave our ends in on both in my case, and we have our 2 bonding squares ready for mother and baby to get to know each other a little bit better whilst they are unfortunately separated in ICU. Thank you so much for joining me today for this tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, of course, the notification bell, so that you never miss out on another one of my crochet tutorials again.